Hi there, it's Kevin with RogueDeckBuilder.com here with a patron bundle box opening. This is something I offer my patrons that if they'd like to open up cheap product, that I will send them the rares and we can get some video of opening this lovely Ixalan bundle. So there are a lot of products, of course, you can order through the distributor price, and I'll be glad to oblige and open these. Like cracking some product here. Usually I have Zach do this, but Zach doesn't want to today, so he's painting. We got an Ixalan. Ixalan is currently starting to lose value, but I mean it's still a pretty decently valued set. I think the price of these bundles are about 24 bucks at the moment from distributor price, so that's still quite cheap to crack some packs. So anyway, let's get to it. Ixalan bundle comes with a red dice and the land pack, yay, and then a little how to play. Let's give it the first pack. So wasn't a big fan of this draft environment with Ixalan. It always felt like you were had two halfway decks, like halfway there with Merfolk, halfway there is dinosaurs, and same thing with Explorer is really tough to actually get going, like the green-black. We have the Sure Strike, Queen's Commission, Blightkeeper, Fathom Fleet Firebrand, the Deep Root Warrior, One with the Wind, Hijack, Contract Killing, Blinding Fog, Paladin of the Bloodstained, the Kumena Speaker, which does see play in both the UG, the Civic, that's the color combination, Merfolk in Modern, as well as in Standard. So it's a pretty good, powerful one-drop. It's a good card to hold on to for long-term. You never know if Merfolk ever is going to become a Tier 1 deck, and it's a pretty decent one-drop for more of the aggressive builds with Merfolk. We have a Drove of the Mighty, another one that I have been keeping these because it's something that is a decent little mana dork. All of these tend to hold value, even the 2-drop ones, and it becomes a 3/3 if you control a dinosaur. It gets better and better with more cards printed. It's never even modern playable, but casual for sure. Deadeye Plunderer, wasn't a big fan of this card in Limited just because, again, it felt like you had a very awkward deck. If you went treasures, sometimes this guy could be pretty big. Other times it could just be a lackluster 3/3 for 5 mana, which gets outclassed in a format with the Colossal Dreadnought type cards. And the Rootbound Crag. So this is actually a very good pull. These cards are going up. We have seen a green-red deck start to really take over some of the meta share away from some of the traditional other, like Golgari or other green splash like Celestia type green aggro decks. So Rootbound Crag has started to go up because of it. I think also with the next set out, tricolor decks are really going to be more powerful if we see a lot of these multicolored planeswalkers in War of the Sparks. So keep your eye on these Rootbound Crags. I haven't really pulled the trigger on selling these yet. The ones that I'm really and like wanting to get rid of are the ones that I think could be reprinted in the Challenger decks. And I don't think that this is a color combination they're going to go for in the Challenger decks. So I'm looking at like Izzet might be one of them that's more Celestia for sure. Might be one that's could be reprinted with the. We already know that there's going to be some sort of white weenie strategy. We don't know. We might just go a bunch of monocolors for the Challenger decks this time. All right, on to the next pack. You get 10 packs with the Ixalan bundle. We have. We'll kind of fan through these ones here. I'll talk about anything that's interesting. We have the Emergent Growth, the Bounded Horncrest, the Ixalan's Binding, a card that at one point did hold about $1 value, but is kind of going down. This card also kind of pushed out by the one that allows you to Conclave Tribunal, allows you to use creatures to help cast it. But this is still something that can bind away to Fairy. You'll see it in a lot of the Jeskai decks or the Esper decks, especially in the sideboard, to really combat the mirror. So pretty good card with Ixalan's Binding. And the River's Rebuke, this card is actually starting to go up in value, which I'm happy about because I spec'd into a bazillion of these. Hopefully we can get this to go up slightly more so I can get out of these as soon as possible before they rotate. So you're starting to see these in, I've actually even seen them in Mono Blue. I don't know how Mono Blue actually cast this card at 6 mana because this is quite the converted mana cost for a deck that runs a low land count. But we are starting to see these in Phoenix decks as well in some of the control decks running the River's Rebuke. So not too bad rares here, and some decent uncommons for sure. Let's get on to the third pack. So did I mention who this is for? This is for good old Icebound Toast. So this is your Ixalan box. We're really prepared here at Gone Rogue Games / Rogue Deck Builder. All right, so we have the Pillar of Origins, card that is currently on Card Kingdom's buy list. If everyone is interested, been going through their buy list to get rid of kind of stuff that I can't unload anywhere else. Card that could get better with the more creature types cast. Hard time seeing this modern, I don't know, it actually could see modern play just because it's still one of the better rocks, but most decks want to be casting non-creature spells as well as creature spells, so Pillar of Origins kind of suffers from that. Stormfleet Arsonist, the Deadeye Quartermaster. This is another card that I think if you should not throw this in your bulk because it has a ability that I think is relevant for Commander to be able to search for an equipment or a vehicle. It's one of the only ways you can specifically tutor up a vehicle. Yeah, there are some cards that specifically can tutor up artifacts, but many decks are going to get, like, the more commanders they print that deal with either vehicles or equipment, this will be a card that will go in those decks. And the Overflowing Insight, a card that really never took off, drawing 7 cards for... the thing about a lot of draw spells in blue is they want to be flexible. It's those X spells. This one is under cost for drawing 7 cards, but basically you have to dump in 7 mana. Other cards are very more versatile. If you need a Hail Mary and get a couple cards, you can go ahead and grab it. So this one just never took off, never really found a home. All right, let's go on to the 4th pack. The 4th pack is going to give us the Dust Legion Dreadnought. Unfortunately, there wasn't a lot of good vehicles in this, or ships in this this set. That's, I think, a blunder of the Ixalan. I really would have wished for a good pirate ship that would have saw some play. The Stormfleet Arsonist, the Deadeye Plunderers, and Glacial Fortress. This one also is starting to creep up. There are a lot of blue-white decks. Again, with the next set with Planeswalkers, I'm just expecting blue-white to be a better color combination, so definitely keeping your eye out on these lands. This one is one of them that's more risky for the Challenger decks because you never know if they are going to go all out and print Teferi Control. I personally don't think so. Some people, though, do think that Teferi Control will be a thing, or will be a Challenger deck. I highly, highly doubt it. All right, on to the next one. We're halfway through. Just about. We got the... Oh, see a foil. I'm cheating already. We got the Ruthless Knave. Interesting little card to be able to sacrifice a creature and create 2 treasure creatures, and then sacrifice 3 treasures to draw a card. The Lurking Chupacabra, kind of cool in Explore decks, but the converted mana cost was just awkward. I would wish this card would have had, like, in all honesty, it would have, I think for this to be, like, playable, it should have been like a 2-drop. Then it would have been quite interesting with the Lurking Chupacabra. 3, you could maybe get away with it. What they really should have done is made this 3 colors, made it like a black, a green, and 1, and made it something like a 4-3 or a 3-3. I think it would have been a little bit better to be competitive. But it was very good in draft though. Bright Reprisal, great draft card. That's about it. And the Fleet Swallower. Yes, a bunch of jokes can be said about this card, but anyway, it's a 6/6, and whenever it attacks, target player puts half their library rounded up into their graveyard. I'm thinking this card, years down the road, is going to be a casual favorite. So it's going to take 2-3 years, though, before this is anything besides a bulk or a price, though. And we have a Foil Island. Kind of pretty. Kind of nice little pretty land here. All right. So far, not a terrible bundle. Got 2 of the lands. They're creeping up. They're definitely starting to creep up in value. Alrighty, we have the Siren Stormtamer, a $3 uncommon, is a powerhouse in the mono blue deck, and also goes in blue-red wizards, and you occasionally will see a blue-red wizards in modern as well. A Chart of Course, look at this, we got the deck in a pack. Chart of Course is also seeing play in Phoenix and in the mono blue deck. It also holds the price tag around $2 to $3, so both these uncommons are worth more than the majority of the rares out of the set. The Azokan Archer, nice little reacher. Didn't really see. Wasn't the greatest card. And we do have another mythic. Unfortunately, this is Axis of Mortality. Funny story about Axis of Mortality. I did have a fan drop like $100 into my MTG Arena account to build a deck with Axis of Mortality to test it out. It was kind of a fun deck. Maybe we'll have to revisit this card, as switching your opponent's life total is quite fun. Unfortunately, they're with mono blue tempo and a lot of very aggressive decks. Casting a 6-drop and having it stick around for a turn, that's going to be very, very tough. But the whole combo with Axis of Mortality is you switch your life total with your opponent and then have a way to, dish off that last point of damage or whatnot. And yeah, or you could use like you can't lose the game this turn and you already have like negative life total. So you go to the beginning of upkeep on the stack. When this trigger goes on the stack, you change your life total to negatives and then give your opponent your life total and they die. So pretty good pack there just from the uncommons. The mythic was kind of a bust there. Two mythics that have been quite lackluster. All right, on to the next one. We have the Dustborne Skymarcher, nice little vampire enabler for the draft format. Deeproot Waters, nice, very nice little merfolk enabler for the Merfolk Tribal. Fire Cannon, another card that I believe is like 75 cents. Don't quote me on that. I know it's up there. I know it's not bulk. I know this is on mini buy list. This is still some of the Phoenix decks go-to way of wiping mono white creatures. And then we have the Primal Amulet. This card's awesome. This card has got up to about $5 at one point. I think it's gone back down, but this is going to be a commander staple going forward. It flips into this Primal Wellspring, which then copies the instant or sorcery that you cast with it. So this will be a chase card for commander for years to come. It's also one that's going to be hard to reprint because of the dual faced. So this is a prime spec for Primal Amulet for commander going forward. I'm sure it will show up on Rogue Roundups in the future. Right now I don't really like the time. I always like to buy into these type of things, rotation or post rotation, like 6 months after is usually the key time. So like right now I'm looking at Hour Devastation to start investing in commander staples. Don't really look anytime else. All right, so we have another pack. We have another Command Speaker, the Inspiring Cleric. Great little card to gain 4 life. Emissary of the Sunrise, and the Kinjali Sunwing. This is all a card that I'm very surprised hasn't seen play in a lot of these mono white decks, as your opponent's creatures come into play tapped, meaning their blockers come into play tapped. It's very awkward that it's competing with the Unbreakable Formation as well as the Bendlish Marshal, and I think that's one of the reasons. But this is definitely a card that I could justify running in like the mono white lists. And we have a foil Steadfast Armisar, so 2 foils in this box. Okay, now we are on to the second to last pack. Okay, we go to the Slice and Twain. This is a card that started to creep up due to Commander by destroying an artifact and enchantment and drawing a card. It's not worth anything at this moment, though. The River Sneak. This is a decent little merfolk, but it has unblockable and also gets a pump every time a merfolk comes into play. The Savage Stomp, another card that's really, really fun with dinosaurs because it's a 1-mana Prey Upon that also gives a counter. And the Spell Swindle, one of my favorite cards from this set. I've had a lot of fun going Spell Swindle into my my favorite card of all time ever printed in Magic the Gathering. And you'd think it'd be an old school card. For the longest time it was an old school card, but I think my favorite card ever printed is Marionette Master. And Spell Swindle and Marionette Master was absolutely fun when you counter something on curve. So you counter their 5-drop, slam down Marionette Master, and then sacrifice the treasures. And hopefully it'll be for lethal. If you made your Marionette Master a 4/6, then it was lethal with the 20 damage. So even get the treasure token with the Spell Swindle. So Spell Swindle counters a spell, and then you get that many treasures is what it does. All right, so last pack. Let's hope for, what's in this set? A Carnage Tyrant? Or is that out of the other set? Yeah, I think Carnage Tyrant was out of Ixalan. Again, there's the value's kind of spread out. You have Search for Azcanta, you have Vraska's Contempt, you have Carnage Tyrant, you have Vraska. Those are the more expensive cards in the set. We have the Makeshift Munitions. Typically when these type of cards are printed, I try to build decks with them. I've been out of brewing for a long time. I probably should get back to my roots and trying to brew with bad cards, especially cards like Makeshift Munitions. This is a fun card to try to build around. This is exactly how I play Magic. I've been kind of stuck on like this, I need to prove myself competitive mode, and then I get in this little rut where it's like, okay, my decks just don't match up. We have a very hostile meta right now in Standard to try to brew, or at least do wacky things, because the format, especially best of 1, even best of 3 at this point, has a lot of extremes. You have extreme control on one end where they are only running like 1 win condition with Teferi. Then you have extreme aggro on the other end with the mono red that has 3 different versions of lightning bolts in it. And then you have mono white that is very aggressive on the creature axis, and then you have mono blue, which is very much so a tempo, like very push tempo strategy. And then you have a really roadblock strategy in the form of Sultai. So it's very tough for brews to succeed at the moment and be successful. So that's one of the reasons I'm not too hip on Standard at the moment. We have the Marauding Looter, the Unclaimed Territory, probably the best card out of Ixalan, as it sees a ton of play. This card would be worth a lot more if it was not contained in the Challenger decks of last Challenger season. And we have also the Dragon Skull Summit, so 3 of the lands out of this. This is also the one that I believe is moving up the fastest in value, as Red-Black is one of the more flavors. After Jody Keith won a Grand Prix with it, it definitely is starting to see a lot more play. The Black-Red. Definitely go check out Jody Keith's Twitch. Very cool guy. Need to have him on the channel sometime. Done some podcasts with Jody in the past. Very cool person. So definitely go check out his stream. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this video of the Ixalan Booster bundle opening. If you are interested in having one of these cracked for you, all these cards are going to be sent to ICEBOUND Toast, and I hope you enjoyed your loot here. Come and check out either my subscribe char / Patreon / Facebook, or not Facebook, I don't use Facebook, PayPal. You can just, I can make up a recurring payment, and you can get a part of our tiers where I can do this for you, open up a product. I believe it's the $8 and above tier. You'll get one of these, either a booster box or a bundle opened per month at distributor cost. So I believe this one was a $24 Ixalan bundle, and it's cracked, and we'll send the rares and foils and uncommons at no charge, and throw away this other junk. Anyway, this has been Kevin with Rogue Deck Builder. Thanks for watching.